Yo, what up? What up? Good morning, GMGF. Thursday, August 15th, 2024. Whoa, baby. Look at that. Another beautiful day to have a beautiful day. I got my co-host in the house. Tyler, how you doing today? You have seemingly changed areas. Your house is nice, dude.
I'm good. Came out. My Wi-Fi is not good today, so I'm done dealing with it. Moved downstairs, so coming to you live from my kitchen table. But the internet signal is stronger down here, so we should be good. And yeah, I mean, who cares about the Wi-Fi with these markets? We're back alive. We're pumping. You're long, looking kind of nice,
dude. Yeah, I mean, I'm long a whole $1,000. What is it, $500? So that's doing good. I figured instead of throwing $500 to $1,000 on shitters left and right, I may as well, throw some cheeky longs here and there for fun, just to feel something, But probably gonna get chopped and wrecked. The other day I went for fun. I went like 200x, but on like $500, like whatever. And I think it lasted a whole like 45 minutes. At least it was 45 minutes, dude. Hey, I lasted 45 minutes. The average man lasts. Okay, never mind.
I mean, what's your average time? Like when you open up a 50x trade, like what are you looking at holding it for 2 hours? Like
yeah, bro, it's like 50x. Like it's in and out for like just for the typical degenerate behavior, right? Like gotta feel it. But before, like I was doing pretty good, like beginning of the cycle, like because there's always an easy mode, right? We talked about easy mode yesterday quickly. Easy mode, I would leave it for a few days, like, but low levels, like 5x, like 7x, like something really low. Like I had this big Solana long ones from like I think 60 to 90, or was it 90 to 120? I forgot.
Damn.
But I went like, I don't know, $1 million size. But it was like 3x, so it's like your risk is not as big, and the upside is nice. Plus easy mode, when it's easy. That's why I keep telling people, and be careful with chop. Like you'll know when it's easy mode. Like This is hard mode. This is like
it's hard mode,
hardcore mode for a trader. Like the day traders trading leverage, I don't envy them. This is harder than probably pump fund trenches, bro. Like this,
for sure. Like we got soft inflation data yesterday, and everything dropped.
Yeah.
And then the numbers are better this morning, and everything ripped. But like it's hard to predict.
Before they ripped, they dropped. Like they ripped, they dropped, and they ripped again like 2 minutes ago, right? So like for the people, like, so for some people that are like leverage trading, it's tough. But I think most of the big CT folks, what they do is they leverage trade on very low leverage with like what's it called when you have money with funding, right? They have the funding to offset like when it goes down, and they just keep adding to their funding. But then like you're always scared of the overhang of like a black swan, like headline, right? The headline risk right now in the super illiquid market is so big, right? Like one bad headline and we're just fucking nuking 10%. So that's the scary part. But anyways, today on the show, today, let me get some retweets in here. Today on the show, what do we got? We got market report as usual. Mando's not going to be with us this morning, but we're still going to go through some market reporting. We'll keep the show short and sweet. Probably Tyler's top 100. We'll see what Tyler's got in store for us. We definitely have some conversations to be had today regarding NFTs and whatnot. And then agree to disagree segment. Well, we have a tweet for y'all. And curious to hear everyone's thoughts. So we're broadcasting live. We're going to post a broadcast link in a second here. Thank you, Sims. I'm going to post it right now. And so you can watch us live on YouTube or on X broadcast and share your thoughts, because I can read them on the bottom right-hand side of my screen every day. Wow, FOMO Hour episode 180. You absolutely love to see it. All right, Tyler. Well, I'm just going to play your jingle because we don't have our boy Mando today. Where is it? Where's it at?
For daily NFT and crypto analysis, Tyler D on FOMO Hour, cause the kid can't miss.
Ready to bash some bears. Yeah, for a quick market report here, crypto majors rallying a bit here this morning after a huge beat on retail sales and unemployment data. OSF calling for a soft landing. He says the soft landing very much intact.
Okay.
He likes it. Stock market likes it. Stocks are very green this morning. Some major stocks like Nvidia, full V-shaped recovery now.
Really?
Since the yen carry trade blow up. So they are all the way back up, and it happened pretty damn fast. So you love to see that if you're in the stock market. I guess quickly on Nvidia. So this one actually, I got a little concerned last night. I think Stanley Druckenmiller sold off all of his Nvidia shares yesterday. I think there's some concerns about their earnings coming up. I think Mando shared that this the next big macro event on the docket. I think it's the 28th, so still 2 weeks away. Like they've just been, when you're at all-time highs like this, like you just can't have anything go wrong. And I think I saw some reports that they were going to miss a big shipment. I don't know. So I think there's some trepidation over Nvidia, but they're doing well. I guess back to the report. I'll quickly run through these and then we can dive into some. USDC founder Jeremy Allaire, he's alluding that USDC could be coming available on iPhones because of this Apple announcement that developers will be able to use their payment chip starting in iOS 18.1. That is the next iPhone update. So there's a lot to unpack there. We saw Fidelity's head of digital asset management say the firm is evaluating projects like stablecoins, tokenized treasuries, on-chain credit, and more. So Fidelity looking to get deeper on chain. That's a big one. We had the U.S. government transfer $600 million of Mt. Gox Bitcoin on Wednesday, led to speculation and concerns that they're going to sell. I don't think we've seen any evidence of them selling just yet, but the concerns are raised. In more positive news, Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin, my neighbor to the north, they now own 2.9 million shares of Aave, worth nearly $100 million. Disclosing their latest SEC filing. So cheese and Bitcoin. That's what they do up in
cheese.
Yes, Wisconsin is the cheese state.
Really?
Cheese.
Interesting. What kind of cheese?
I think cheddar. I'm actually not an expert in the Wisconsin cheese market.
I'm French, so I kind of know my cheese.
Yes, indeed. We'll come back to the cheese here. A few more headlines. Telegram, their developers announced that users can send stars to content creators and channels. These stars can be converted into tons. So they've effectively turned on crypto payments for creators. That's a big one and the most growing crypto native social messaging app there. In politics, U.S. Senator Schumer, leader of the Senate, he committed to passing Bitcoin and digital asset legislation out of the U.S. Senate by the end of this year, bringing senators together across the aisle. So I think that was a positive outcome from the Crypto for Harris rally that took place last night. In memes, quickly running through this, meme leaders are rebounding this morning. Mid-tiers, though, it is a bloodbath across chains. Just don't look at the board, but Giga, I call it the light in the darkness. Giga up 20% this morning against a sea of red. Now the number 6 meme on Solana, 230 million MC. So shout out to Giga. And then Pac-Man, I can say it now because I'm downstairs with stronger internet. The Pac-Man team, they closed the burn window for Pac. They took a snapshot. So even if you miss the window, you're still going to have a chance to claim. Army, it launches later today. We should get the full details. NFTs are green across the board, up 10 to 20% on ETH. Pudgy's up 10%. Bored Apes up 17%. The Bitcoin NFT leaders are up 5 to 10% as well. And then Degods are just smashing on Sol. They're up to 34%. Now 3x off the bottom. So that is the quick rundown. There's a few areas that we could certainly dive into here.
Damn. That is a lot to unpack this morning. On the market level, I mean, it looks like where are we at? 59.5 on Bitcoin, 26.50 on Ethereum, 144.6 on Solana. So really unchanged since yesterday or the day before or the day before that. Or
just chop.
The day before that as well. I mean, that was my title today, the eternal chop for the show. It's
what it feels like.
It's just what if we chop for life? Like, are you ready for that scenario?
I think the reason it's painful is that the majors are chopping, but the meme leaders are just slowly going down.
They're just getting hammered.
And that's where a lot of folks have bags, at least the active folks on the
Yeah.
timeline. And I think that's why the sentiment gets worse. If we really chop till November, I think the sentiment is going to it could get quite bad. Like
Yeah.
we're already seeing it.
I mean, how many fucking months can you chop for, bro? Like, what are we at? We're at 6 months, like we said yesterday. So we'll see. But most people are saying October. Maybe start recovery in September later. So that will be 7-8 months of chop. So hopefully we get at least like 2 months of easy mode, please. I'm not asking for 8 months.
Who knows? Maybe some of the politics stuff will come to light, fruition. Maybe we'll actually get some legislation passed. I mean, it's in the Democrat interest, right? It's a pretty key. It's a swing issue for undecided voters. Clearly, the Trump administration has come out very pro crypto. The Dems see that, so I think it's in their interest to try to capture some of those votes back. Now the question is, are they actually doing it for real, or is it just to get votes? But if like actual legislation can get passed that's meaningful in the next 3 to 4 months, it could be big and it could actually have an impact. So
yeah, it's we'll see. I mean, look, no one's got a crystal ball, so we'll have to we can only show up every day and wait a little bit and see what happens on that front. So that's it for the market. I don't think Mando would have added much more to that. It's just like fuck, like we just have to wait and see what happens really. Soft landing, hard landing, this and that. So yeah, we'll wait for the rates cut. When would be the rates cut in September? It would be at FOMC, right?
Yeah, I don't have the date on that.
17, 18.
I've been interested. So I actually think there's an interesting polymarket line on that.
Yeah, it's how many bips he's cutting, right?
And 50 has just tanked. So at one point, I think 50 bips was a slight favorite.
Was it?
It's down to 13%. So now the market it's at 81% for just 25 bips. So they're heavily favoring just a small cut. I don't know. I'm looking at that. You can get 8 to 1 return on them coming out of the gate a little harder and starting with a 50 bips cut. I don't know. I'm going to take a hard look at that. I think it's possible. Also interesting. I want to say that the larger markets were pricing that in at 23%. So a little bit of an arb.
Yeah.
So I don't know. A potential poly market line to look at. That's a liquid one. $4.5 million bet on that one.
My last bet is that Trump is going to fire his campaign manager, but in August. I mean, the fuck are they doing, bro?
It's a juicy one.
I mean, you know me, bro. I've been coming on here and saying, what the hell are these people doing for a minute now? He's getting cooked on the markets right now. So apparently now people are accusing Polymarket of taking money from the Democrats. I thought that was really funny.
It's up to 59%. He's going to fire someone. I mean, we know that Trump loves to fire people, and I think it's no secret.
It's pretty liquid because right now it's down back to 39. So I think it's
okay.
Market,
it must be pretty liquid.
It's $40,000 bet only, so it's very liquid. So be careful, y'all. Before you bet on these predictions. Like I know we talked about them a lot. Just heads up for people because we're probably going to talk about them every day. Look at the volume on them. Some of them are very illiquid, so please be careful, everyone. But yeah, it's something to note. About
the volume and the order book. So like you can see how much your bet size is going to change things effectively. And like you have to be taking a look at that if you're doing this.
Correct. That's why you bet small. By the way, when I say I bet on it, I put $100. Like, you know what I mean? It's just to feel something. Just to say I was right, Hey, to me, this all ties back to reputation. But anyways, so Tyler, we got a few things to talk about this morning. Where do you even want to start?
We can hit the Apple stuff real quick.
Apple stuff. So what's with the USD? Because Circle is going public, and I saw some conversation about people saying they should have dropped the token because they would probably have like a massive FDV in the 20 billion plus, but they've decided to go public instead. Which, by the way, probably not a bad one to own in your retirement account. So what's the TLDR on Circle and Apple?
Yeah, so the reason that Jeremy Allaire, CEO of Circle, spoke out yesterday is Apple released this announcement after basically years of pressure. They're going to finally allow developers to use their payment chip in the phones starting in iOS 18.1. That's the upcoming software update for the iPhone. Payment chip relies on tech like NFC, so on and so forth. I think where this gets more interesting is kind of Jeremy's thoughts, and I'll paraphrase a little bit here. Basically, he said, until this update, the only payment app or wallet that could use this chip was the Apple Wallet or Apple Pay. So they basically had a total monopoly on it. By opening this up, other wallet apps like Web3 wallets, like crypto wallets, will now be able to use these chips for transactions. And he says if an iOS wallet supports USDC, they can enable a UX where a receiving device could receive the transaction via a tap, just like you have on Apple Pay. They could develop prompts like with Face ID for how you can use biometrics to approve transactions. And then he goes on to say, if you combine this type of performance with low-fee blockchain networks, it opens up a pretty powerful pathway for merchants to start accepting USDC more across the board. He then goes deeper into other use cases, like what this could mean for NFTs for tickets, other certificates, other stable coins like the Euro coin. And he's encouraging wallet developers to really start taking a look at Apple iOS, their SDKs that support this, and get ready for what he's calling USDC tap to pay. I mean, it's funny that this came after yesterday. We talked about the MetaMask debit card, which, what was a story, but these debit cards do exist. But I mean, iPhone is massive, right? And
I mean, come on, everybody's got an iPhone, right?
And everyone now, like, we're getting used to, like, even I was like a pretty slow adopter to like using my phone for payments. I don't know, for like security, and maybe I'm a little more old fashioned, but it's certainly convenient. And again, this isn't an order of magnitude bigger than like the MetaMask debit card, right? If this actually starts happening, and it seems again like the building blocks are in place. Yeah. So it's a big headline.
Yeah. It is huge. I mean, USDC payment, that company's doing good, bro. I'm curious about I'm excited to see them go public. That's definitely one of those stocks you want to watch once it goes public and live. Because if you're bullish on the industry as a whole, USDC is fucking leader when it comes to that. Like, obviously, Tether is like, I mean, Tether's probably the best business in the world right now. Right. Like, they have like very little employees. They make a fuck ton of cash, and they have a ton of money on the books. But Circle is like,
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up their chart on DeFi right now, but they're up 34 billion in market cap. I'm trying to get a growth chart, but
USDC. I don't know how to. Let me find it here.
It's a little slow.
No, Circle. I can't find it.
I can see where they're growing right now. In the last month, they're up 11% on Solana. I don't think that's a huge surprise. We've been talking about stables, and then 22% on Polygon. Which you know what? A lot of that's probably tied to Polymarket, right?
Polygon, yeah, could be. I don't think anything else.
Because you have to convert to USDC to deposit on there. They've grown by 22%, so that's roughly 150 million.
Yeah.
Polymarket did 350 million in volume, 380 million in volume last month. Yeah, so that's probably what's driving that. That's that's interesting to see.
Yeah. It's we'll see where that goes, but it's a very, very interesting company to follow, and they're actually crushing it. So I know that when they go public, personally speaking, in a retirement account, just watch, let it go, see you in 20 years type fucking play. You know what I mean? Like it's right. It's that in Coinbase I love. Like I got a friend, I don't do stocks at all, but I had a friend early this cycle who's dabbling in crypto, but mostly stocks. I pretty much forced him to buy Coinbase, and he's pretty happy. It was like $100, sub $100, and he was like, "Let's go." So I actually had my mom buy some, but the bank didn't let her. Apparently it's too risky for her at her age. I was like,
come on.
I literally was like, yo, put me on the phone with that idiot, the bankers. But anyway, that's another story. It's very interesting. For those of you who are curious about the USDC story, I'm going to retweet this tweet. This one here, because Jeremy Allaire broke it down himself. 17 hours ago. Lots of chatter and questions about my tweet, a bit more clarity so that people don't make things into something it's not. And so he kind of like, he's kind of, breaking it down and why it's a big deal, and also breaking down what it's not as well. Like, it's not an official collab with Apple, but it's still going to enable like USDC payments on it, yada yada yada. So that is some really big news, Tyler. News that you would love to see for the industry. That is honestly, I think that because we're too close to price action, but if you look beyond price action, there's definitely a lot of incredible things happening in the space. All right, what else? What else should we double down on?
Let's talk NFTs. I know you did. We did one to yesterday. You weren't buying the rally, and the rally keeps rallying.
I'll buy it when it rallies.
Yes,
but except from Degods, it's like on their own. So that's a thing. That's a beast of their own right now, right? They're going full Degod mode. But what do you got for us NFT wise? Let's pull up the Degens.
I think I always start with the ETH NFTs when I go my rounds and take a look at this market. And I mean, it starts with Bored Apes. They're up 28% this week. They're at 12.6. I actually don't remember the last time they were this high. They're up 33% on the month. Like they are moving. I think a whale came in and did a sweep last night.
It was the same whale that's been sweeping Degods, right?
Yeah. The same one. And like Cyrus said, that he thinks perhaps the bottom is in. He's an important signal for folks, I think, in the NFT space. And do we actually know if it's in? Of course, it's hard to say. People are speculating perhaps a big announcement coming out soon. We know they've been kind of cooking with the other side, and the other side is getting closer. I'm not sure what type of announcement would really move the market, but they've got some real momentum. They've reflipped the Pingus. So I mean, the Penguins are having a nice week themselves. Pudgies were well ahead of Bored Apes about a month ago, and now they're down 3 ETH. So Bored Apes have made up the spread, and guess what? Bored Apes are now more than 50% of the way to a punk. So you could sell 2 apes for a punk right now. The question is, do you want to?
I will gladly sell them if apes reach punk level. I'm definitely swapping my ape for another punk if that happens.
1-to-1. That feels like a good swap. Maybe that is a good lead into our poll question.
Are we going there?
Yeah, this was an interesting one. I retweeted it from Old School Texas. I think that's his handle.
Let me find it. Fuck, I have so many tabs open. Hold on. I gotta go to our FOMO hour chat. Fuck, we talked too much this morning. Okay, I got it.
So the poll question is: would you rather buy 1 Bitcoin or 1 male floor CryptoPunk?
Let us know what you think in the comments, by the way. So, would you rather own 1 Bitcoin or male floor punk right now? Which one do you prefer to have? Bitcoin's at 59.5, and I'm pretty sure CryptoPunks are. Let's say they're on par, right?
Yeah, they're basically on par. Which also, just quickly on that, I knew that the ETH Bitcoin ratio had been going down, but I guess I hadn't totally compartmentalized that it was 22 ETH per Bitcoin roughly. Wow. So yeah, assuming that they are exactly even, which one are you picking? So I actually voted punks in the poll, but my replies, it was like 100% Bitcoin. Everyone was picking 1 Bitcoin over the punk. And that surprised me. I gotta say, I've got a few thoughts. I feel like people just have these wild Bitcoin price targets in their head from like the Sailor 2040 talk and these funds who are calling for like $1 million Bitcoin. And I think it's still very possible that Bitcoin goes to $1 million by 2040 or something. It's not going to happen in the next 5 years. I'd actually argue there's probably a better chance of a punk going. I think you've got a better chance of a punk going high sometime in the next 3 to 5 years than you've got on Bitcoin. So I think I like the upside on punks a little bit more here near term. You have to worry about the ETH to Bitcoin ratio for sure, and you have to worry about NFT demand. But I mean, we're just kind of hanging out at the lowest levels these things have ever been. I think perhaps people getting a little bearish at the bottom.
Yeah. Fuck. What do I prefer? I gotta be careful what I say. Hmm.
So, so let's break it down. Like, what's your price target for Bitcoin this cycle? Like, let's say 2025, 150K. All right. I think that's generally in line with mine as well. So the question
So my
is,
base case is 100. Sorry, bear case 100, base case 150, bull case 250 for me.
so what is ETH in this scenario where Bitcoin's 150K?
10.
Okay. I
Right?
think that's a very reasonable price target in that scenario. So now you need
All
punks
right,
to
if
be
it's 22
15
ETH
ETH.
for Bitcoin at 150K, you're looking more at 7K ETH.
Yeah.
So let's say the ratio would go up a bit. So at 20 per, no, I'll say 7,500 if it's 150, 10K if it's 250.
Yeah, that's actually exactly where my head is. 7,500.
7,500. Let's go per our base cases, you and I. 150K Bitcoin. Let's go $7,500 ETH.
Yeah.
Let's base this conversation on that. Where were you going with that? So where the punks are,
Yeah.
right?
So now you're talking. You need punks at a 20 ETH floor.
So punks are 20 ETH. That's okay. So
that's break even at Bitcoin 150K. So you're betting on if they're going to be higher or lower than 20.
So I think that if that's the case, then a punk will outperform Bitcoin for sure. I am absolutely convinced of that. I mean, look, I'm never selling my fucking punk. Let that be known, right? And if I sell it, it's always to upgrade. My punk is something that's gonna go on to my children. Or a punk. You know, one day I hope I have a zombie, like I've always wanted zombies. But no, we're talking short term. Like this cycle, we're talking short term. We're talking the next 2 years, right? We're not talking long term. So like, what would I rather own this cycle, one Bitcoin or a punk for pure trade? I probably fuck. That's a tough one. You know what it is? You probably want to buy a punk based on how long we're taking to answer that, because it means that the sentiment is not as high as it was. Because you asked that to anyone in 2021, they would have said a punk, but the Bitcoin since then has outtraded the punk, right? Because Bitcoin's back to the highs of 2021, whereas the punk is, punks were selling for 10x higher, right? Last cycle, $500,000. So I think, yeah, we need the historical punks BTC ratio. Do you guys know how to? The other thing in the cycle is like Yuga didn't own punks, right? So that's different, and that's a comment that I'm seeing here from the. Let's see what the people think. Someone said I don't trust Yuga with punks. Someone said we need historical punks BTC ratio. Do you know how to pull those charts?
I don't know those. I don't know those charts.
Someone said I think they can go down another 50%. You know what? I actually said that to some friends. I said 25, 30K is where I would say, like, fuck it. Like, I have to back up the truck on the punks if that happens. But I don't think you're gonna get it because everyone wants it.
It feels too low to me.
One thing on punks that worries me is that Wilcox started selling them. So all the clean punks you're seeing sell at Wilcox's punks, who's like one of the most iconic punks collectors ever. Still has about 200 of them. I don't know. I still think if you were to give me one Bitcoin and one punk, I'd say give me a punk. I'll go for the punk. I'll say punk.
We're aligned. But I think the fact that it was that hard to choose does
says a lot.
Say something.
But see, I picked the punk because it was hard to choose. Does that make sense? I'm trying to make more decisions in my trading in myself right now. Anti-consensus. I'm starting to like get myself more into that mentality these days. I've like made a concerted effort the last couple of weeks to go against everything CT says.
A little contrarian. Well, CT's saying go Bitcoin. So this is definitely a contrarian play.
Yeah, but CT also doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. I've noticed. Like, I just straight up. Like,
I kind of like this punk at $24.99, basically on the floor. He's dark hair. He's got the beard. He's got the eye mask on.
Let's see.
Fourth on the left. Yeah.
That is the one that came to my eyes as well. That's a perfect robber punk.
That's not bad for basically a floor.
Brother, last cycle we would like dream of punks like that. Like there's the punk that here. Let me show you something. There's a punk that sold yesterday. I was so shocked. I literally went on a free comment spree yesterday on Punks. So this is a great sale.
Yeah, the 3D.
47 ETH. I think these sales for people who are really loaded, like have a lot of money, like for someone who 125K is fuck all, that will like, that will be good. It was this one. Look at this, dude. 24 ETH for VR goggles and a fucking cigarette, brother. You will never see that in 2021. This punk likely never sells for as low again.
Just wait till the VR revolution actually comes. Like it's gonna come.
Yeah,
right? So the
it's
VR is
something
gonna.
like that. 27.5.
That's a good punk. Yeah.
Like red. Wait, that's Benny. I can't believe Benny didn't buy this. Oh my god. See, I commented free. I went on a spree yesterday. I just commented free on every punk sale. Even this one, I think I commented free on this one. There I am, free. I agree with you. It sold yesterday for 24. Person's trying to flip him real quick, but see, it's Wilcox selling him. All the clean punks right now are being sold from this wallet. He has 193 left. And he was inactive for the longest time, bro.
Well, that's when you can't even like read into why he's selling when he's got 200 of these things left. Like,
but someone who held through the, like, you don't know personal people, right? Someone may get sick, God forbid, but like you never know like personal issues and stuff. But someone who has spent an insane amount of time look, he's claimed them. All his punks are clean. Never bothered to sell since 2017. Selling them now, that's usually goes towards a negative sentiment towards the collection, right?
Well, he's probably an ETH maxi, right? If he was around and claiming these, like if you're bullish on ETH, this is a great time to sell because your taxable amount is very low.
That's true.
Assuming they're in the U.S. and paying taxes and whatnot, like you have to be pretty strategic about how you're going to unload this bag, right? Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not reading too much into him selling, but what a bag.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we'll see. But yeah, I'll take a punk. I'll take the punk over one Bitcoin. And if not, just Bitcoin puppets. Anyways,
Do you have the Degods itch? Is the Degods FOMO setting in?
I'm not gonna lie. I have been looking at the floor since like 20 Sol. So every day I just check the Degods floor because I've been waiting to get like one that resembles my punk. Because the day I buy a Degod, I'm obviously not gonna fucking sell it. So I keep looking for the party blower trait, the pipe. And whenever I get one that resembles my punk, I'll probably just vault it. I do regret it though, because there was a point last week where I connected my wallet. I selected the sweep function for 10 of them, and I didn't do it. I always have that second thought with NFT still. I guess I'm just still in shock of the whole NFT 2021. What about you?
It's hard to get too overconfident. Yeah, I bought a Degods when they bridged to Sol coming home, the LeBron story arc, and then long story short, I ended up selling it, and they dipped another 75% after I did. So it was the right move from a trading perspective, but now I'm on the sideline, and I've missed this whole run off the bottom. And man, it happened fast. Like, these things were 11 Sol on August 6th. That's 9 days ago, and now they're at 35. And coupled with my meme coin bag on Solana is not doing that great, so I don't have as much free capital.
Right? I put the rest of my degenerate Solana wallet into a meme coin that I liked a lot, and that meme coin's down. Not too worried about it, but the Degods are up. So like, fuck, like you don't sell something that's down to buy something that's up 3x. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's harder to enter here, but at the same time, like it wouldn't surprise me if. Like I do think they are on the trajectory to retake the #1 spot on Sol. I think Mad Lads are 55. Like these can absolutely get to.
Is that 55. What it is?
Yeah. And when's the last time you heard someone talk about a Mad Lad?
No.
They're 40. They're 49. They're even lower. Wow.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna flip him for sure. Probably like by this weekend. By Sunday.
If it happens by Sunday, that is an explosive move up.
Yeah, but you know how it is in crypto. I mean, remember 2021? Like, $1 million sweeps every other day. Like, I'm nothing surprises me anymore. But actually, matter of fact, Tomorrow morning, I wake up at 73K Bitcoin and break out towards like the 80K range. I wouldn't be surprised. And similarly, I wouldn't be surprised if I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm at 48K. You know what I mean? It's like such a highly volatile market at this stage. It's just like fuck. Like, I'm just patiently waiting. I'm just patiently waiting for that to happen. So on the NFT front, there's that. What else? Do we have any more news on the NFTs? I mean, Solana got Degods going on. Ethereum, you got. I mean, Degods are there too, but it's mostly been Bored Apes rallying, which you love to see. And obviously, Pudgy Penguins going pudgy mode with Luca and Abstract absolutely crushing it. What else do we got? I mean,
so movement on the Bitcoin board, nothing crazy. It's a lot of up and down. It's like one day I log in, they're all up 10%. The next day they're all down 10%.
It's almost back to 0.1 handle. So you love that. If we can lose that decimal again, I think mentally speaking, it's a good barrier.
I had people say that they would take the Bitcoin instead of the punk, and then they would buy puppets with it. And,
so I was gonna say, like, fuck it, 10 BTC puppets is a joke. But the thing is, it's either a punk or Bitcoin, right? You know what? Let me do a poll. What would you rather have? So we'll add the puppets. We'll do one full Bitcoin, one CryptoPunk, and then the third option, let's do 10 Bitcoin puppets. How's that?
Man.
Right? There you go.
We're going to see. We're going to see what the people want. I think you're going to get a surprising amount of puppets, but I think
it'll be puppets, I think.
But would you trade a punk for 10 puppets?
No, because historically, every time there's a punk trade, the asset goes to zero. So
exactly.
I urge people never to do that. Actually, there has never been a historical trade where someone traded punk for something and then the collection did go to fucking zero. Usually, I sell out of collections that do that.
Yeah. It's generally a very bad sign. What was the Mutant Hound collar trade?
Yes, 40 ETH. Someone traded Mutant Hound. There was not only that, and by the way, I love 6529, but someone traded a full stack of meme cards for a 6529 full set for punk that didn't age well.
No.
But yet again, you could argue that also punks ended up going down a lot. You know what I should have put in my fourth thing? I should put like whatever one Bitcoin amount of MOG. Like however much like 60K of MOG is.
If you're bullish MOG, now's the time to buy him. This thing is
I'm bullish fuck MOG, baby. I bought the dip the other day again, but nothing big. But I added some the other day.
I guess if you zoom out, it's consolidating here.
My exposure to Ethereum is all MOG. I'll be honest. It's easier. I'd rather own plain some Sol meme coins and then MOG as ETH exposure. It's been good. But anyways, one thing I want to know about, Tyler, that you mentioned, I want you to talk to me about Wisconsin cheese.
Yeah, I'm not actually an expert in Wisconsin cheese. So what do we got here?
Well, this is wisconsincheese.com. These people definitely look like they're from Wisconsin.
So the Packers are the cheese heads. I'm not versed in specifically what all the types of cheese that are made. I think cheddar.
Wow, these look so good, bro. Damn.
There's some good beer up in Wisconsin as
I'm
well.
a big cheese guy. I think we need to go to. I didn't know Wisconsin was real. I thought it was a meme.
Their Bitcoin amount is certainly becoming a meme here. They're probably one of the leading states.
Are they? So tell me more about the state of Wisconsin buying Bitcoin. What's the news?
They're buying it through iBit.
Okay.
They're now up to 2.9 million shares, worth about $100 million. They disclosed this in their latest SEC filing. They picked up another 500,000 shares in the last quarter, I want to say. So that's roughly $20 million worth.
Nice.
So they're betting big.
They want that cheese, baby.
They do. Digital cheese.
They want that digital cheese. There was also this other news of all the banks now that have exposure to Bitcoin via ETFs. You see that?
Yeah. I mean, all the banks are going to have it. And like, these are the things that I feel like you don't see. It's in the headlines when like Goldman's buying and whatnot and BlackRock. You don't see it when all the downstream, mid-tier banks are buying it. And like, I think this is what's driving this next cycle up, right? I think these numbers are just going to continue to go up, and then I think the next leg is when it gets into everyone's retirement plans. I think that's going to be a huge one. but it's more out there than I think we realize.
Yeah, 100%. Beanie's saying, what about 79 me bits?
79 me bits.
I forgot about the me bits.
Poor Sergito and the memes. I'm not interested in owning a me. I have to be honest about that.
I used to own me bits. Thankfully, I sold them on the way down at 2 ETH.
We're just riffing here. It was one of my biggest bags in 2021. My Meebit bag was worth 500 ETH. At peak. It was worth over $1 million. I had so a buddy of mine, we had pulled ETH to buy an X copy piece, and we just missed out on it. We didn't have enough, so we basically ported it all into Meebits, and they like doubled or tripled, but we didn't get out at the top. This was right before they had the Meebits at Christie's. Like the full suit Meebits were trading for like 20 ETH in September 2021. Of course, that was the peak, right? But we did not sell the top on those, but we got out well before where they're at now, at least. But
yeah,
those things moved. Folks also may not remember they launched the same week as like Bored Apes were. I think Bored Apes were like 0.2 when Meebits launched, and then that was the big storyline for like a month was Bored Apes versus Meebits.
Yeah. That's just I was part of that. I was causing some shit. I loved it. Beanie said puppets.
Interesting.
Smart lad to be on it. Not a wrong. You know what? It's probably not a wrong answer from a trading perspective. So let's go bull bear base again, right? Bull case. Ethereum's at $7,500 with Bitcoin at 150K, right? Last run, Punks topped at 450. If we get another NFT run, Punks would be leading, right? $7,500 ETH. How much are Punks at? So for them to be 450K again would be divided by 750. You're looking at 60 ETH per Punk. So 60 ETH Punks, is that possible at 7,500 ETH?
I think it's possible. I mean, they were like 60 was kind of that top of that range they traded at for years, right? So like that 40 to 60 range. Now I think the puppets trade, I get it from like a math perspective, because all you need to do is outtrade one Bitcoin. So if the puppets go up 10%, you've at least outtraded Bitcoin.
So so puppets topped this cycle so far 0.45. And that was with just Bitcoin at 70K, by the way, right? So right. Bitcoin at 70K was $70,000 per Bitcoin times 0.4. They topped the $28,000 ish. I think it was 30K for a little bit. How high can a puppet go if Bitcoin goes to 150 then? Let's say another 2x, 100K per
0.2. I mean, they can't go back to 0.45. Like, people are going to pay $75,000 for these things.
I mean, we used to say that about almost every NFT. You know, a Cool Cat was selling for $50,000 last cycle, brother.
In this scenario, like everyone should be buying all these NFTs at these prices.
Here's this:
we're all going to be like hilariously rich.
Puppets at 0.4. Okay, at 150K Bitcoin, you're looking at 60 grand per puppet. Yeah. 10 puppets, you're looking at 600K. So they would need to go to 0.4 to outperform our estimates of Punks. It's probably head to head, honestly. Maybe puppets is a better trade because you get to own 10, so you get to like DC in and out over one whole Bitcoin or one whole Punk.
The downside is also more like, I think it's much more likely.
The downside is more aggressive. Right.
Puppets could actually go to zero.
Puppets can totally go to
Punks
zero.
are not going to go to zero, and Bitcoin's not going to zero.
Is it? What if tomorrow, I don't know, the entire world implodes and Bitcoin goes zero?
I mean, well, if Bitcoin goes to zero, the puppets go to zero.
I'm kidding. Last time I said that we did 48K, so let's just not say that.
Yeah.
Up only on everything. I longed some Solana, I longed some Ethereum. I even longed some Ethereum, Tyler. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Hopefully, wish me luck. I've been having the itch to just do a tiny bit of trading, so hopefully we'll be fine, and we'll see what happens. But anyways, look, that's a good roundup. Tomorrow's Friday. I don't think we have a guest on tomorrow, but we'll have Man's gonna be back for sure tomorrow. So that was a good round. I don't think we missed out on anything. You got your lucky lead in now, anyways, right? In 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
There you go. So for those of you who want more content, Tyler's gonna be live in 10 minutes, and with that, we'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of FOMO Hour on Rock Radio. Let's go.